Hello. It's Sunday, and this is episode 3 of A Little Bit of Positive Balance in an Uncertain World. So, welcome from Therapy Ted and me. And I want to say we've had a couple of comments back from, which have been lovely, but from people who may not know what kinesiology is all about. So, for those of you who are not kinesiology clients who may be watching this, just know that you don't need to know what's going on really as far as the balance is concerned. Just sort of sit there and be calm and just see if you notice anything going on physically in the body. You might notice some tingling, or you might notice some temperature changes, or you might even be needing to yawn or something like that. This is all perfectly normal with kinesiology, so just kind of go with the flow and just sort of listen to my voice, really. For those of you who are kinesiology clients, you know all of this already. So Therapy Ted and I have already done a bit of work, and the balance is set up and is ready to go. Now, again, today we need a card, a colour card. So this is today's card, and again, it's another green. So how nice is that? And this one is particularly for calming of the nervous system. And I think as we get more into the realization of the social isolation and the more restricting way of our lives, we need to make sure that our nervous system is kept really calm, because the calmer we are, then the better our immune systems are, and the more we can find the positive in what's going on at the moment. So green is the colour of healing. It was the ancient colour that they used to use in all medical practices, was green, because it is the most healing colour. And it's also revitalising. So have a good look at that colour. And then we'll pop it underneath Therapy Ted. He can sit on it. So today's balance actually starts off with an original trigger, which is ancestral inheritance. So we've got those pesky ancestors coming in again. And then we've got 2 survival mechanisms, one to do with trauma compartments. So this is stuff that you've sort of stored away in your brain of traumas that either you have had in your life, or things that have come through from your ancestors. So that's stuff that will have been attached to their DNA. So a whole series of different thing called epigenetics. So you don't need to know what that is. Just accept it for this particular balance. And then finally, then we had overactive instincts again, as we had yesterday. And again, this is all about calming that brain down, getting you to be really much more relaxed about the situation, so you can see the positives in what's coming and stay calm. Keep calm and carry on. This is kind of we used to be really good at this. So, whilst we need to be sensible, and we need to not do unnecessary journeys, and we need to not go into public spaces where there are other people without a really good reason, we do need to get out a little bit. I again went for my walk today, and the weather is so gorgeous. I've been sat outside for a couple of hours with a book, and that's been really nice. So we've got these overactive instincts, so we're calming them down. And then finally, we've got some ancestral healing on repeating illnesses. And again, this is if you've been brought any energies through from the past with an energy that is similar to the viruses that are going around at the moment, then if we remove the energy from the ancestral stuff, then you're much more likely to be robust for the new stuff. So this will take those away. So Therapy Ted is here. He has the Cosbats on, and he is holding the points. So now let's just think of while this is working through, we'll just think of a couple of positives here. And in the week I heard that China are sending medical help to Italy, which I think is absolutely lovely. Their crisis is on the way out and over. So they obviously have experience now, and they may have equipment that they no longer require because they don't have anywhere near as many cases. And that's going to Italy to help, which I think is lovely. I also heard on the radio this morning that Birmingham City Council are also quite impressed with the improvement in their pollution in the city centre. And they're now looking at talking about how they can, post the crisis, how they can ensure that in actual fact this stays and doesn't go back. And I think a lot of people will be looking at this afterwards to try and see, well, we've been given this chance to have a huge breathe and a cleaner air. How do we maintain that when we start going back into more of our normal daily life? And I think for those of you who are more at risk, because you do have breathing problems, then the fact that the pollution level, if where you live is more polluted, that should also help. Now, obviously, it's not going to mean you're not going to get the virus, but it does mean that your lungs will be in a better state to be able to cope if you do contract even just a cold or anything that's going around. So that, I think, is also a positive. Now, yesterday I said I was going to have a quick chat about accepting what is. And you can tell if you're not accepting what is because your language starts to be things like, well, they should, you should. And what you're doing is you're kind of going, I don't like the way the world is at the moment, and other people should do something about it. Now, if you notice you're doing this, just kind of go, you can't influence what's going on, so don't put the energy there. Come back inside your own life and recognize what you can do, and then go, okay, well, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And, accepting that this is a situation that we're in. Maybe you don't like the fact that you can't go to the pub or you can't go to your gym. Rather than railing about it, accept it. It's for the better good. It is what is, whether you're well or not. So accept it and find a different way of dealing with your day-to-day life. So you may find that there is something else that you end up doing that actually is brilliant. And you think, why didn't I do this before? This is really good. So see this as a time of exploration and a time where you can find maybe new passions. I was watching Stephen Fry this morning. He's watching YouTube videos about improving calligraphy. That may not be your thing, but the internet has a vast, array of free tutorials, free things out there. Maybe this is a time to look at decluttering your life. Maybe you've got time at home, you can clear out that cupboard or whatever it is that you want to do. Or you can improve a skill that you've already got. Somebody was talking this morning on a podcast that I was listening to about not making a new garment. I'm a sewer, most of you know this, but the fact you could actually there's a technique I want to really hone. So I'm going to do it over and over and over again till I feel that I've absolutely mastered this art of whatever it is. I know some people would go sleeves or sleevels as they're known, trying to set in a sleeve. So just accept that this is where we are now. Be sensible. Self-isolate if you feel you need to. Ask for help from other people if you are self-isolating. Don't feel alone. If you've got obviously if you're watching this, you've got the ability to go online. There's so many groups out there. If you have an interest, find a group in that interest. Take your mind off what is going on at the moment and allow everything just to calm down, especially your nervous system. Now, Therapy Ted is coming to the end of the balance. So I hope you've enjoyed this again and you've found it of interest. As I've said before, if you've got any topics you would like me to cover over the sort of coming days and weeks, I do intend to do a little bit of this every day, just because I feel that it's of benefit to anybody who watches it, even if they don't really get the balance. But hopefully people will feel the benefit from the balance. And tomorrow we're going to talk about new routines. So Therapy Ted is done. And we would like to say goodbye for today, from a little bit of positive balance in an uncertain world.